There was a point in time that I almost really thought that everything that could be done with turntables had been done until I saw the world famous Beat Junkies, and it was just mind blowing. And someone showed me a video of these guys doing a routine that I thought was absolutely impossible.
It was a clean, style that was refined, and I love that about them. And the choice of music was amazing.
Something that really, struck a chord with me for the rest of my life was just how cool it was to meet your idols and have them be so nice, and so humble and welcoming.
I've never really been in a DJ crew, but I always, if I were to be in one, I was hoping to be in that one,
Everybody in my crew is dope. Curse, DJ What, Icy Ice, Symphony, Mellow, Havoc, Sweet Pea, Tommy Gun, D-Styles, Babu, Chalk, Redmatic, Shortcut.
They are at the forefront. They're the founders.
I don't know if Jay had a mobile DJ crew, but I had. Curse did, some of the other guys did. I was with a crew called Legend Entertainment, and I looked up to a group from Cerritos called United Kingdom. And in United Kingdom, there were 3 DJ groups, but in those DJ groups was DJ Curse, DJ Redmatic, and DJ What.
You say those names and people were like, oh.
I heard about Curse, and I heard about Rhett, and I heard they had a crew. I heard about their crews more or less, Double Platinum or whatever Rhett's was called, and Public Image, whatever. I think that was the name of their crews then.
We had the same friend in common, a friend named Joey Quarles. Used to go by Junk One. When he first started out, he was just doing some designs for Nubian Clothing, which was later on transformed to Drawls Clothing.
And anytime he needed a clothing store or something, wanted a DJ or whatever, he would hire me out. Oh man, I wasn't nobody yet, so it wasn't he was selling me out oh, I can get J-Rock.
So when they started doing parties, Joey would always tell, we do the flyers and always tell us, check out this, this cat named J-Rock, we always see his name and stuff, and he would play his mixes, who's this cat, dude? So we're here in Torrance, California. This is a spot actually where I met J-Rock. Used to be a store called Funky Town Records. I came here with DJ Curse. Came here to check out the store, grand opening and stuff.
It was a store opening, a lot of DJs knew about it. I went down there and there were a whole bunch of DJs there.
DJ Streak from Insane Poetry brought J-Rock. He just took some random records that he had, cuts it up, just kills it. My mouth would drop. We're like, who's this guy? Damn, this guy's killing it.
And from that point forward, we just kind of started hanging out. I had friends, he had friends, and slowly, over a period of time, the Beat Junkies started to form.
We are in front of what used to be a nightclub in the early 90s called Pro. J-Rock, DJ Curse, Redmatic would kind of come in, they would lay out 4 turntables, and they would just go for broke. And I would come here religiously every Thursday. My man Curse came up and was like, dude, you're here every Thursday, bring some damn records next Thursday and come DJ with us. And I was just like, word. The rest was kind of history. They kind of embraced me moving forward. We started getting together to practice at DJ Curse's house.
So it just matched in, just everyone just kept running into each other. And just through little random chances, DJ community, I guess. So this is my old book of flyers, and there's thousands of dudes I DJ'd with every weekend. These guys could have been Beat Junkies, but I didn't hang out with them.
And then Jay had this idea to just, you know what, man, we're doing stuff all the time. We all play the same clubs. It's always 2 or 3 of us. We're always hanging out. Let's just start a DJ crew.
And everybody had to kind of gel with everybody else before it was cool to let somebody in the crew and stuff like that.
J-Rock used to work at this comic book store, and he had these Green Lantern rings that he was passing out. I know at the time he was just giving it out to some of the homies that were hanging out, but just literally, I guess at one point he just says, you know what, this is the crew. I want a crew of DJs, just dope DJs, just the homies and stuff, and we call ourselves the Beat Junkies, and we're just like, okay.
Me and D-Styles came down to LA for the DMC, West Coast DMC Championships in '93.
At that battle was where we met Curse and Rhapmatic.
We hit it off, we had like, oh man, same interests as far as DJing,
and they would invite us down back to LA for different gigs. I think it was '94 is when they asked us, would you guys want to be in the crew as a Northern California member.
I knew Mello first. Mello and I used to do mobiles together. He was in one group and I was in another. And then just being, knowing Mello and being around, one day, I just asked J-Rock and I was like, hey, how do I get down? He just handed me a ring. And I was like, wow.
I wanted to be part of the crew, but not because I was the token female DJ, but because that I was as good as any of the other guys and that I was just a good DJ.
It must have been 94 or 95. I entered a battle in Santa Barbara. It's being judged by the Beat Junkies. And somehow I end up in the finals against Rhett, and I beat them. Fellas, I started going to Cerritos on the weekends and hanging out. And I became a junkie. They asked me to be down, and I was super excited. From there, also, too, I started working in LA at Fat Beats. And, so opportunities started popping up. People started knowing me more outside of my bedroom.
I met Rhapmatic because him and Kikua at the time had a single out, and I was on the radio, so he was giving me the single to actually play on the radio. We started kind of like hanging out, and we became friends. They used to come hang out at my house and come to the radio station when I did my shows and stuff. We were all hanging out, and then Mello D said, hey man, let's go outside for a second and talk. And they were like, yo, we just want to let you know, man, we want to let you in the crew. And so they gave me a Green Lantern ring, and I was like, oh, wow, word! But at that time, when I knew I was letting the crew, I knew I had to step up my game because of where they were all at. They were like at a whole nother level.
Ladies and gentlemen, show me love to
Babu, Diabolical.
I call him the Georgie Benson of scratch, because when you listen to him do like orbits and flares, it's just like it rolls.
Anything that he does, he's just always been an originator.
Assassin Radio Shade 45. My name is Mr. Chalk, DJ Big One up in here. Big Earn Dog on the boards, DJ Muggs in the back making his album.
Mr. Chalk is the complete package.
Very meticulous, very precise in what he does.
I wish I could actually cut like him because he's...
From every aspect of DJing, he can bring it.
He's one of the guys that I listened to in the early 90s. Him and T-Minus had the Roughnecks. I used to tune into his show religiously.
I never really hung around with him too much. I just know that he is hilarious on the radio.
Rhapmatic, one of my mentors, the Godfather. Dude's a OG and a legend, what can I say?
He's always been an influence, like a big brother.
My idol.
Rhett was like one of the first dudes I really bonded with and fucking talked records with.
He's just a musical, connoisseur and all around, nice guy. That's my dog, Rhapmatic.
Mello D.
Melody is like, whoo, man, when it comes to scratching, that's another guy. When he gets warmed up, it's...
Perfection on the turntables, inspiring.
Mello was actually a big inspiration for my scratching.
I don't even think he's a perfectionist. I don't think he's trying to be, but he can't help it,
Like, I don't think I've ever seen Mello mess up.
Short was the babyface assassin. Short was the I'ma smile in your face while I slice and dice you to pieces.
His beatbox doubles are something of legend.
Don't
His pistol grip pump doubles are something of legend.
Shortcut is my brother. They're all my brothers, but Shortcut, I mean, what can you say? You know, he's the king of beat juggling.
D-Styles, one of the illest scratchers, period. It's like listening to a jazz artist. It's almost like a Miles Davis of scratching.
Ooh, D-Style's a scientist.
A lot of people, you know, they just don't know what that man is capable of doing.
You know, when the aliens came here and fused monkeys and aliens and created humans, D got a little bit more alien than monkey in his DNA.
J-Rock is the godfather. He is James Brown. He is Sly Stone. He is the soul master of the crew.
The funky president.
Black as hell. That's all I can say. Funky and black.
I think out of all the guys in the Beat Junkies, I wish I could DJ a club the way J-Rock DJs a club.
He's the guy that I wish I could be as a DJ.
Man, J-Rock's in my top 5 DJs to this day.
But one of the big things about the crew is that, you know, we have our hands in so many different things individually, as well as being a tight crew, you know. Whether it's J-Rock and Stone Sour or Black Star, or Rhetmatic doing a record with Eric Bobo or Buff One, or Visionaries, or Melody repping for us in Vegas, you know, Shortcut doing this thing in the Bay, or traveling around the world, or myself when I'm out with Dilated, like, we're always repping the crew.
I don't think that there's any DJs that's out today that have not been influenced by the Beat Junkies at all.
I think, you know, one thing that's really one thing that's transpired over the years is how, in fact, the Beat Junkies were really early on the model for longevity for DJ, because the Beat Junkies were so well-rounded.
Even to this day, I still kind of trip out that, you know, we're considered like the top 3 of the turntablist movements.
We're all grateful and blessed to still be, you know, active as DJs, still be, you know, acknowledged as a crew.
And that, even though like we all do our individual things, and you know sometimes we don't all perform together, whatever, we never stop being a crew ever.
If I might not see one of them for like 2 years or something, and I run into them again, it's like, it's as if we're just seeing each other.
We were rocking parties together, having a good time, having a drink together. You know, all that shit just fell into place.
Really, when you get to live your dream, do what you love to do, you know, DJ music, you know, traveling, rocking crowds on a weekly basis. I mean, damn, it just flies by like that. It doesn't even feel like it's been 20 years.
Y'all just get ready for this next 20 years, man. We about to slap all y'all in the neck, the ears, the face, everything. Beat Junkie sound.